Olay. It's been a while. And this time I don't really have an excuse for it. Outside of the fact that I've just been busy and haven't really felt all that compelled to keep streaming. So yeah. But I'm here now, finally, after forever. Yeah, we've only got like 2 levels left. I don't think the stream will be very long. But I did want to wrap this up, hopefully before we get halfway through this month, and I've still got nothing done on it. So. But it's good though, because at least we get to start out playing the best level of the game. This time. I don't care. Why is this? Yeah, just with all the Viscerafest stuff we're trying to get done, it's been I haven't really felt kind of felt guilty not having streamed for so long, but at the same time, it's like I'm trying to get stuff done, and it's really hard to get stuff done. Yeah, he's the Viscerafest dev. But it's really hard to get stuff done when I'm actually streaming, obviously, and because of how much time it can tend to take up.
You have the crucible.
Oh God, there we go. That's
with
better.
the means to contain the power of the well. We have a plan to send you there. Vega will walk you through the process.
By the way, tell me how the audio is, because I'm not entirely sure. I may need to hold on. Let me turn. Oh, let's see. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. I just don't want my voice to be too quiet because that's a frequent complaint I get. You have many upgrades. Yes, I do. And the reason for that is because over the past several streams I've done for this, I've talked a lot. And when I'm trying to form words in my brain and, play a game at the same time, it's really hard for me to kind of focus on some of, the side stuff. So I'm just gonna... Or not, that's right, I can't. Never mind. So yeah. But... Kind of half there.
This is my primary operating facility. It is where I was
Kids.
created and where my core processing unit is maintained. It takes approximately 2.4 terawatts of power to sustain my operational capabilities, but it has been decided that you can use that power to send you to the source of the portal. I will not survive the procedure and am unable to self-terminate, so I will walk you through the process.
Let's just pray that
All
the game...
interior and exterior facility doors have been secured. You will need to begin by finding a way in and disabling the security systems.
Let's just pray the game doesn't crash my PC this time. Because that happened last stream. This game tends to be a little bit hard on my system, and it's not entirely... Oh, gosh. It's not entirely uncommon for this game to not be kind to my PC. Okay, come on, buddy. And I'm sorry about that, by the way, because last stream made it really abruptly and out of nowhere, I'm sure.
Terminate in this maintenance facility. Each termination point is protected by an electrified field, but you should survive the surge.
You know, I'm not gonna keep torching you guys with my FOV. I'm just gonna set it to 130 and leave it at that. Nope, okay, hold on. Because it's also kind of getting annoying for me to have to constantly swap every time I hit a friggin' checkpoint. I haven't played this game in forever, man. Well, not forever, but last time I streamed was the last time I played it. Somebody's left over. There he is. Is there more? Oh, there he is. So how are you doing, Kaz?
Auxiliary neural security network offline.
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite level in the game.
My vital operating systems are now vulnerable. I recommend destroying my coolant system first. This will accelerate the destabilization process.
That's my favorite setting. Just in general, it has the best combat encounters in the game. Nope. Hold on. There we go. Whee! Actually, hold on. Yay, we did it. That one can be a real pain in the butt. I don't know. I don't really like the Berserk power-up in this game. It's just so overpowered that it makes anything you... It just feels like such a joke. It makes every encounter you have to deal with just feel utterly meaningless.
Should you find yourself caught in the
Yeah, I
level
don't have to
3
still
demon
really good.
contamination
No?
event, it is important that you remain calm. A Tier 3 fellow wouldn't panic, and neither should you.
I just, in general, I'm not a big fan of the implementation of the power-ups in this game. Oh yeah, right, I didn't take care of you. I forgot I could get into this room before I got access to the blue key. I don't care, because it's a lot of the encounters it's put in are challenging without it, and with it, it just trivializes them so much. And as a result, the combat encounters just aren't as fun. I would much rather play through it without having to use the Berserk than having it be present. But the issue is, it's like it's like designed to be visually tantalizing to like lure you to use it, and which I mean isn't a problem per se. I mean, like, that's kind of the intent, obviously, but like when I don't want to use it, it just makes it all the more frustrating because it feels like the game's fighting against me. Because all of the fights are so much better and more fun without the power-ups. There's a switch over here, I believe. I'm trying to remember. No, the switch is in this room. The room is back here, but the switch is in that room. I just don't. I don't like it. It's, for me, it's just because the thing with the original Doom's power-ups was the levels were designed in such a way that you could kind of you would kind of save them for whenever specifically you felt they were strategically the most useful, because it's like you'd be doubling back through different areas, and like, you know, the arenas you were fighting through, they were much less, I'll say, set than they are in this game, which like I don't really think one or the other is better per se, but the problem for me is that once you fight through an arena, you're not really going to double back through it, and if you do, they're probably going to end up respawning the power-ups for you anyways if they want you to use a power-up for that fight. But it creates this thing where it's like, rather than the power-ups feeling like something you use as a strategic element to overcome certain parts of the level by your own will, it instead feels like kind of just a way to trivialize a fight that otherwise could be really intense and really fun. So I'm not a big fan of them. Like, they're not bad. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're bad. I would prefer to just not use them, period.
173 times hotter than the surface of the sun. To contain
There's some
this
guys
heat,
in here,
a
I'm pretty
massive
sure,
supercooled
so
structure was built to house Vega's miles of circuitry and millions of processing centers.
It's not coming? Huh. Oh wait, maybe it did? Question mark? Oh, there it is. You know, like... Oh, they're all dead. Yeah. I like, well, original... Well, the speed power-up, actually, I'm fine with. I think the speed power-up is great, because it doesn't, it's not something that trivializes the fights in any way. It's just something that kind of acts as an extension of your abilities. It's something, because, like, you still have to play well, and it's just that you're faster.
Core temperature rising.
You know, nothing about the core shooting is lost when it's in play. Is the thing with the haste power up. I really hope the sequence doesn't bug out, because it has bugged out a few times for me. I'm not really... I kind of... So, I've been kind of doing what I would usually do for the past several times I've been showing you playing this game on stream, where I would basically try to go for as many of the upgrades as possible. And I would try and... Oh gosh, max out everything I could. But the thing is, I've kind of reached a point where... Especially since we're this close to the end of the game, it feels like a little bit meaningless to actually try and do that now. I'm still gonna go for all the secrets and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna be focusing as hard on like completing some of like the side challenges and stuff like that. Not as much. I just don't like it because like these are all very predetermined fights, and it's like, yeah, sure, I could. Oh, hello. Go away. But like there, for example, like that could have been a much more interesting and engaging encounter to have to deal with that Baron. But no, I just one-punched him. And it's just not as fun to me to just be able to left click to win. Oh, that works. But yeah, there have been a few times where I've been playing through this area, and I would finish and kill all the enemies, but it would never... The sequence wouldn't trigger or whatever, and as a result, I would be stuck in this area, and the doors would never unlock. It's, you know, it's like, I've mentioned this before, it's another reason why I don't like the BFG. It's just like, it completely negates any actual fighting you have to do in this game. And the original Doom is really powerful, but it was more so just a way to very naturally deal with a large group of enemies. Hey, it's your room. Oh yeah, I think I can attest to that. I'm pretty sure this thing killed my graphics card too, and my dog is barking. So somebody is probably home. It didn't fry my graphics card, but it definitely strained it a fair amount, because it is like the most intense room in the game. Into like it, not most intense. It's the most. This is the most intense room in the game. It's not the most intense room in the game. The last room is the room that has the most monsters, I think, period, in any of the combat arenas. I don't think I'm wrong to say that, am I? I'm pretty sure that's the case. I can't think of an arena that has more enemies. Yeah, this is the most... It's not going to be that hard for me if I'm playing on Ultra Violence, because I would have to... I explained why I'm not playing on Nightmare for this run specifically, but, this area is definitely the hardest fight in the game. I might not die. I'm not sure. If I were playing this, like, and I wasn't having to talk at the same time, that would be one thing. Come back here. But since I'm having to focus on all this stuff at once, and I'm constantly glancing at chat every 5 seconds, you know, it's a little bit harder to stay alive. Also, I love this song. This is like my favorite song in the game. No! Nope. I was just steamrolling. Nah. I whiffed it. I'm a little out of practice, so hold on. My chat is being dumb. There we go. No, stop. Yeah, the train area is true final boss. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is pretty much as hard as the game gets. Alright, oh crap, I have 9 points. Yeah, I'm not really going for the final challenges for the weapons and stuff, like I usually would. Nah, no. Eh. I also really like this track. It's just it's just nice feeling to build up. It's like some very 80s synth vibes.
Once Vega's core is destroyed, the vacuum of energy will pull you back through to hell. We have your destination set to the well's location. Now use the crucible to power it down, and the portal here on Mars will be closed permanently. They will not allow access to the well without a fight. But I'm sure that's what you're looking for, isn't
Also
it?
this, just, I love how atmospheric this movie feels. One thing that does bother me though. Yeah, it's always irked me. I do understand why, but still. Also, can we all just agree they definitely designed this area to be reminiscent of the Spider Mastermind?
Thank you, Vega.
I Hold on, I'll get to it in a second. I didn't get the cutscene. That's fine. It's Doom Annihilation. I haven't quite seen it yet. I've seen good chunks of it. And generally everybody's reaction. Yeah, I do love that bit. I'll get to that too. But generally everybody's reaction to Doom Annihilation was like violently disgusted when the trailer dropped, and I didn't get it then. And I just don't understand. Like, I don't quite understand the gutturally, viscerally angry reaction people had to that trailer, but whatever. I haven't seen all the movie. I've seen good chunks of it. I have a general idea of what it's gonna be. And I gotta be honest, I don't think I'm gonna hate it. I think I'll kind of just be like, it's a thing. It's better than the last movie that came out, because God, was the last movie that came out for Doom stupid. Like, bafflingly, amazingly stupid. But yeah, I don't really get how viscerally people hate the film. It's just, like I said, I haven't seen all of it yet. I've seen like large chunks of it, and I have a general understanding what the plot is and whatever. But it just, I legitimately don't get it. But it's clearly better than the 2005 movie, because one, there's actually demons, and two, they don't make up like some stupid excuse. It's just, oh god, the 2005 movie was just like bafflingly dumb at times, and it just, I mean, it's it's a straight to DVD Doom movie. What like, I guess my expectations for what that could look like were so low that when I saw it, when I actually was seeing it in action, it was like, it doesn't look that bad. Because really, if you're expecting a very high quality, like just awesome, amazing live action Doom movie that's being made on a shoestring budget, like, I don't know what to tell you, because you're not going to be getting much. What are the challenges for this one, by the way? Okay. I mean, at least it's not that they decided, oh, it's just zombies that were made zombies because they unlock the full potential of their brain, and they're the next step. Oh, yep. Yeah, that movie just bafflingly dumb. But yeah, so the Vega bit, I absolutely love the Vega bit. It's just such a great moment. There are a few moments in this game where they really go above and beyond in showing I need to upgrade because I have 11 upgrade points. Oh boy. Oh, okay. I love that moment. It's one of those great moments in this game where they just really do a lot to show the character and personality, and that there is more to the character you are playing as than just kill. Like, there's like things he actually legitimately cares about, because it's not just that he chooses to save him. It's like he hesitates to even do it at all, and only like after taking a second to look around realizes there's something he can do to save him, which almost gives like this aura that he either cares or kind of feels pity for Vega. Yeah, I need to do the challenge anyway, so why not? But I mean, and the other thing too with the 2005 movie was like there was no action in the movie whatsoever. Like they would play rock music to people running. Like it was such a boring movie. Like at least the new one has some action. Oh gosh. More action than the last one did at least. I just really don't get the level of hatred everybody has for that movie. Maybe there's just something appallingly bad in full film that I haven't seen yet, but I don't know. It's better than I was expecting it to be. I'll put it that way. Oh, hi. I mean, from what I've seen of it, no, I wouldn't describe it as bad. I would just describe it as mediocre. Which, I mean, it's not great either, because I mean, that mediocre is kind of forgettable, but I haven't seen Aliens. I'm sure it's a good movie, I just haven't seen it. Yeah. Getting back to the actual game, though, this level has always kind of really bugged me. Because, for me, the final level should, like, be where you push the player, where you test the player the most. Where everything that the game has been up to this point is at its fullest. Where everything is just completely, finally realized to its full extent. And the level is so straightforward and just, like, nothing but, like, corridor crawls into large arenas that I wish they had really done a lot more with the layout of this level than they actually ended up doing. It's not a bad level by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably one of the most fun to do in arcade mode, but yeah. Let's see. I mean, I know what a good chunk of the references are. I just haven't like. Here's the thing: there's a lot of movies that are like a lot of people. I'll say they're kind of remembered as classics, and I know what the references are, and I have a fair idea of what the scenes, a good chunk of the scenes in the movie look like, and things like that. I just have never sat down and watched the full film, because I don't watch movies that often. Yeah, like, I really enjoy the arenas, but I just wish they had done more with the level itself. I mean, here's the thing, right? Because there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. I don't watch movies very often. I think a big part of that stems from the fact that movies don't do much for me. I don't know, I just don't enjoy films as much as I enjoy games. Like, the best film I like the films I enjoy the most, my reaction to them, like, I'm never really all that invested in the film. Also, my stupid chat thing keeps going away. I enjoy the, hang on. Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing too, is like, this doesn't feel that much bigger or grander in scale than the rest of the levels do. Like, it never really, like I said, like you said, it doesn't feel like the climax to the game, this level, because the level itself is, like, almost feels like really small and compact, because it's just focusing on the arenas. Oh yeah, right, I didn't get to flip that switch because I can't flip it unless this is up. Yeah, I kind of agree with, I tend to agree with you on another issue I've had with the Doom 2016 art direction kind of makes everything feel more like insectoid in nature than goat-like, and it really... It really kind of just, I don't know. Everything feels more sci-fi-ish than, like, mythically. I think is the best way to put it. Oops, I accidentally bumped my FOV button. It's one of the things I really like about the Doom Eternal art direction that they've done, is everything just has a more viscerally goat-like aesthetic to it. Like, especially the side of or at the very least, everything feels a little bit more Speaking of Doom Eternal, I saw those spikes right there, and my first reaction was to jump to them to swing off of them. I didn't do it, but I was like subconsciously thinking, that's the next one I'll do. It also doesn't help that the final boss in this game is such a joke, though. It's kind of depressing how easy the final boss is. But to be honest, its software is like almost every single game they've made, I think, has usually just had a pretty underwhelming ending. There's a Spider Mastermind in the first game, and the second game, you could just like one shot with the BFG if you got lucky. It has less health than the Cyberpunk does. And then there's Quake's Shove the Guru on, which can't even really be described as a boss fight. And I've heard that the ending to Rage sucks. Rage 2's ending was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it was fine. I like the boss fight, it's just not hard enough. Hi. I thought you were just like an explosive barrel or something. Can my chat not keep working? I'm not gonna use the BFG on the final boss though. It's easy enough without me doing that. Yeah, that's fair. But the Spider Mastermind of the last game was such like a wet fart ending. And it's a wet fart ending in this one too, so I like the ending itself, like the story implications of the ending. But yeah. The actual fight I really enjoy. It's just too easy. Even on Nightmare, it's such a joke. Whoop. Yeah, well, I messed that up. No, there's a switch up ahead. I was like, did I forget something? Well, I kind of said the final boss. I don't know if he'll be the final boss. I imagine they'll include him in some capacity, but I don't know if they'll make him the final boss. Because, like, I feel like that game has, in terms of, like, its story and stuff, has grown so far beyond the scope of the, Icon of Sin that, like, having that be the final boss might almost, in and of itself, feel like a bit of a wet fart, you know what I mean? Like, now that they're including things like heaven and all that stuff, like, it'll kind of just be like, really? Is just doing the Icon of Sin again? I mean, no, oh my gosh, I turned on my FOV again. Oops. Oh well, I'll make everybody sorry until the end of the game. Oh, hi. Oh my gosh. Woo! Oh crap. Hold on. I feel like the first half of Doom Eternal will be due to... Yeah, I feel like that would probably be what they'll end up doing. Yeah, I agree. I'm sure that's the direction they'll head. I just feel like they're going to do a bit more in terms of like the finale of the game than just the Icon of Sin again. Either that, or they'll need to make the Icon of Sin have like some real heavy story implications. I really like this arena, by the way. It's just a really fun one. I'm gonna still need to do the BFG thing though. Hey, I need to do these carries too, so that's good. Anybody still alive? Oh, hi. No, I'm gonna fail it. Oh well, I'll live. Wait, who's left? Okay, it's just a minute. Whew. I love bunny hopping up the stairs. It's so much fun. It's just... Woo! My neck, throat. One of those two things. Wait. Am I going nuts? No, it's right over here. Hello. But like, okay. Like, going back to something we brought up earlier. Like, this is like such an underwhelming entrance to the final boss. Like, I feel like the Twins boss fight had more build-up to it. Like, visually and stuff. Hello. I like to imagine during the entire time this boss fight is going on, Olivia's model is still just down under the floor. She's just sitting there like floating. I mean, I can guarantee you. Oh my goodness, I can guarantee you that's probably the case. That's probably exactly what's going on. Oh crap! Please don't do that. No, don't do that either. No, stop that. That's just not very nice. But like, to give you an idea of just like how easy this boss fight is, I've killed this boss so quick sometimes that's like in the later phases they introduce attacks I had never seen before on my first several runs of the game, because I just kill it so fast that it never gets a chance to use them. Like there's this attack where it fires like a high-powered beam at you or something like that. Oh my goodness, what? It killed me. Yeah, this is a nice soundtrack. That almost never happens. Oh my gosh. I don't know how you people suffer with that FOV. It is just utterly vomit-inducing. Yeah, there's like this attack she can use where she'll fire up like this very high-powered beam. It's kind of like that, but it's just like one beam, and she'll like track the player's movements with it. And I had never seen that on like most of my runs of the game. Because like I said, I just kill it too fast for her to even get a chance to use it. Nope, get out. Nope, well, oops, I forget that happens. Oh, well, please don't do that. Thing again. Oops. Oh, well, my God. I can't stand the 90 FOV. No, the song? The song is not Cyberdoom. This is a different track from the Cyberdoom track. I would usually like beat this boss in one go. I don't know why I'm doing so badly at it. Unless she's just getting lucky. It's kind of annoying. It's really annoying though. Oops. Yeah, don't do that either. That's just kind of like impossible to dodge in any way, shape, or form. Because you kind of track my movements, and it's really annoying. Well, I didn't need to do that. I am dumb. Okay. The other thing, too, that kind of sucks is she gets easier as the fight goes on. Because it effectively gets to the point where she's crippled and she just moves around really slowly. And she loses some of her attacks and it just makes her so much easier to deal with. Also, I'm running out of ammo. Whoa. Yeah, like you didn't even get to see that attack I was talking about this time as I'm playing. You know what it might be? I'm not using the BFG, and I don't usually not use the BFG. I don't think anyways. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. Well, like, the other thing, too, that really bugs me about this boss fight is it doesn't have a second phase, like every other boss in the game does. Hold on, people were talking to me. Be Mike Tyson Spider. I was wrong. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, at least you're here for the ending. If I ever beat it, because my god, I don't think I have ever had this much trouble with this boss ever in my life. I have never died 4 times to this boss before. No crap! Oh, she's gonna do her ground pound attack. It really sucks. It's just one of the reasons I hate this game. It just trivializes like every encounter. It sucks. She really likes this attack right now. I don't know why. Nope. Okay, I guess bumping into her, like... I don't... Why did she freak out so much? Hold on. Oh. Oh, my goodness, it just flew right through that pillar. I didn't have him last time. Last time I hit the pillar, it just stopped. Yeah, like, still, like, we're almost done with this fight, and she still hasn't done the attack I was talking about with it. Yeah, okay, how am I supposed to dodge that? Oh my god. I'm only dying to the cheap shots, so I'm gonna take a cheap shot. I'll use the BFG once. Ooh, are you happy? Huh? Does that feel nice? Right, yeah, just get it right off. Go head off. Like, I have no idea. How am I supposed to be able to dodge that? Is there like some method I just don't know about? Because usually if I'm actually using the BFG, she's never able to like properly pop one of those off at me. Unless that's the intent, you're supposed to use the BFG version does that, but that kind of seems like this boss fight actually feels nice now that I'm using the BFG for once. You know, other than the fact that she keeps taking cheap shots at me that I can't seem to avoid for whatever reason. Oh yeah, it's only 1 month away. This is wunderbar. See, I can't fight that. Like, how? Screw you. Oh wait, no, I don't have any BFG ammo. Wait, really? You're not dead? The BFG glitch? There's a BFG glitch? What? Come on, wait. What? There we go. That never's happened before. Yeah, I've never heard of a VFG glitch. But yeah, I do love this ending. This ending just... I know, like, a lot of people think it's really underwhelming, but...
You've won. It's over. You stopped the invasion and closed the portal. But it's come at a price. Argent, Vega, this entire operation. You see, I've watched you work. Come to understand your motivation. You think the only way is to kill them all, leave nothing behind. And you may be right. But we can't just shut it all down. Without Argent energy, it will be worse. I don't expect you to agree. But with this, we can continue our work. I am not the villain in this story. I do what I do because there is no choice.
Rerouting tether coordinates complete.
Our time is up. I can't kill you, but I won't have you standing in our way. Until we see each other again.
See, a lot of people say that like it's a bad thing. The ending is very sequel baity, but here's the thing. For me, it was like I enjoyed this game so much that I didn't really want it to end, period. So for the ending to tell me basically, oh, there's gonna be a sequel, like it kind of just gave me hope. Because, like I said, I really didn't want it to stop here. It's very clear through the course of this game that id Software is back and they know what they're doing. which is so satisfying to be able to say that this game is as good as it was. I was one of the few people who was still really hyped for this game even after the multiplayer beta, and I was absolutely I had no doubt in my mind that the single player was going to be amazing. And even I was blown away by it when it came out. I absolutely loved it, to the point where I have played 300 plus hours of this campaign. Just because I enjoy it that much. Yeah, I had all the confidence in the world because I had seen a lot of the single player stuff that they were showing off, and I thought it looked great. And I know I'm like one of the very, very few people who felt that way, but even I was like impressed by how great it was, and I still love this game. I still think it's absolutely fantastic, and it's yeah, it's yeah, it was Game of the Year for me, no doubt. I was ticked when it didn't end up winning, but whatever. It just, for me, this game's just, like I said, because like the last game id Software had made before this was Rage, which like Rage would kind of just like felt like this sad last wet fart for the company. So it's like for them to come back this strong, this reinvigorated, like it was something that just, you know, it was something that kind of gave a new sense of hope in terms of like them continuing to be a great game developer. And then they came out with Rage 2, which I thought was the worst of the game. I don't know. I haven't played enough of it to really be able to say that. Rage 2 was much better. I really, really like Rage 2. But like it's like both these games have kind of just given me so much hope for id Software going forward, and that ending for me was kind of just put a smile on my face because it was like it gave me hope that they would continue to make new Doom games, because I wanted to see more of this. And in addition to that, I think it felt great because the game's story was done. There was nothing more for the game's narrative to do or to tell. Like the game effectively just needed to come to a close, and it felt satisfying for me from that standpoint. That it didn't feel like that, you know, if they like sequel bait, it didn't feel like here, like we are only telling half the story and we'll finish it in a sequel or something like that. It felt like they had completed what they needed to say, and all that was really left was for them to go to the title card and then play the credits. I like Samuel Hayden's the monologue at the end, and he does bring up some. I really like the line, you know, I'm not the villain of the story. It's because it's true, like it's an absolutely true line. What he is doing, from his perspective, and in terms of how he's going about what he's doing. Like in terms of how dire they actually make the situation on Earth to actually be, it's kind of like, yeah, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it, you know. Yeah, Wolfenstein's flattering. Yeah, that is kind of disappointing, but to be fair, it's also not being worked on by id Software. It's being worked on by Machine Games, which, I mean, you know, after the New Order, you would have hoped that they would have been able to really kind of carry the torch. And it's just so disappointing to see that those games have ended up being the mess that they are. It's kind of depressing because they went from like, yeah, it's kind of depressing though because they opened up with so strongly and like provided so much hope for that series, and for them to fall on as far as they have, it's just kind of shocking and strange, and it just, I don't know. I don't understand what happened, because it felt like we went from a bunch of really competent developers who knew how to make a decently well-crafted game to people who just don't get it, like, and are so out of touch. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's just, it's so strange. Like, I wonder, like, did they just bring in a ton of new people for the sequel or something like that, and like maybe some of the old dev team left, or like a lot of the new people, or maybe say people who were lesser before in the company now have more influence or something like that. I don't understand why. It's so strange that it was clearly supposed to be a one and done deal. So that I don't know though, because I feel like even I would have been able to easily, in terms of like a narrative or whatever, continue and follow up. Because like the ways in which the sequels are incompetent don't feel like the ways in which the sequels are incompetent are ways in which the prior game was. So it's like there feels like there's missing know-how to those latter games that the first game had. So it's like I find it hard. I don't know. And like, and here's the thing too. Like they followed up the main campaign with it's not a DLC. It was the standalone kind of mini game, the Old Blood, which was even better than the main campaign of the New Order. So it's like, I just don't get it. How did we go from that to full reset is the best option in my opinion. Wait, what? Yeah, I don't think it was the case either. It's like, again, it's like the only real thing that I can think of as to why it feels so different. Because it feels like we went from like a well-crafted, dramatic narrative with well-handled gameplay that didn't take itself too seriously whilst also taking itself very seriously. That where it's like it allowed itself to have fun, but it was still very dramatic. To a game that just wanted to be a B movie and was completely incompetent in the gameplay department, where it's just, the game's so repetitive. It feels like there's no depth to the combat anymore. It just a lot of the upgrades and side grades and stuff like that stuff's useless. It just feels like a tacked on system that has no meaning. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what happened with those games. And then there's Youngblood, which I don't think I need to say any more than that. And yeah, then that's Youngblood. But yeah, you know what? I think I'll do something for you guys quick before I end this stream. So hold on, if you will, for a minute. I want to do something quick because I have... I did this in one of my prior streams where I went through and I showed some people kind of a little bit of what we're working on with Viscerafest. And I thought, we're not really into, I'd say, the more spoilery parts of Chapter 1 yet. But I thought I might show you guys a little bit, of what we've got going. Or a little bit more than I did last time, I should say. If it ever loads, because Unity's a bit slow on the startup. Takes like a good minute for it to warm up. We'll get there one day. Hey, beautiful. It's still loading in. I mean, honestly, it was so long ago that I ended up showing this on stream that I can't even remember what's changed since then, other than we've added level 3. A lot of what we've been focusing on lately is just adding the final enemies for chapter 1 into the game and polishing up all the enemies, because a lot of the enemies were prior to very, very recently, like I think it was 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, none of the enemies were finished yet. A lot of them had like bugs and animation issues and or just behavioral things. They're still not technically finished because we have one of the things we have to do is enemies have the ability, and you'll probably see a little bit of it in when I get to level 2, which is the one you're looking at right now. I'm going to start from level 1. But enemies will have the ability to like kind of auto snap up to certain surfaces, kind of like you think when a player walks up a set of stairs. You know, it's like because it's not a smooth surface, the player would normally just like hit a step. So like they inherently make it so like you kind of like auto path up the stairs. And as a result, but right now the problem is that the gap that they're allowed to cross is too high. So it looks like this space right here, they'll just like go straight from down here to up here, and it's really strange. So and I did show this off, but I'll show it off again. None of the options menus, I should say, like nothing menus related is done yet. A lot of this is just placeholder stuff, because there's going to be a ton more options here than what you're seeing in this menu. But then I love this. I showed this off recently. So, like, I'm sure some people will be like, why would you do this, you monster? But the thing for me is, and I brought this up before, it always really frustrates me whenever I see in a game that like they'll cap the FOV off at something really stupid like 110 or 100 or something like that. It really takes me off whenever I see that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just let people go wild with the FOV and push it as far as we can. I'm not going to play the game like that because the game is unplayable in that state. I play at 110 because for whatever reason, what Unity thinks is 110. Like Unity's idea of how high an FOV is like much higher than like any other engine, because like 110 here is like 140 and like other engines it kind of feels like to me at least. I also showed this off recently. So now whenever before an enemy attacks, it will they'll play that little audio cube and like kind of stop for a second. So
welcome to hell. I'll be your host for the evening. Out.
We've also added, I should say, there's an overcharge mechanic now in the game. So basically, any health you get, period, will overcharge you, and it will like slowly decline over time. So it's like even if like you jib an enemy after it dies, you can still get the health from it.
Knock knock.
You'll be able to just overcharge the door. And it makes some of the more intense encounters really interesting, because you can go from like when you're fighting tons and tons of enemies at once, being able to just blast them all and jib a ton of them and get all the health from that, it's like you can overcharge yourself extremely high, and so it almost makes it more beneficial to get into the bigger fights, just because if you can kill enough enemies quickly enough, you'll really be able to keep your health points up if you don't suck at the game like I am.
You want some? Come get some. Are you blind?
I should mention, none of the levels we have in the game are actually done yet. There's a lot of stuff we still have to do with these levels. Like, there's actually some story bits, like some very, very brief story bits in some of these levels I'm showing off that are not in the game yet, just because a lot of that stuff's not stuff we're going to be adding until once the game is done. This is story reviews and things anyway, I should say also. But there's a lot of stuff regarding this game's story that's not being implemented yet, because I'm constantly going through and refining the writing and tweaking things to make sure it's as good as it can be. And as a result, there's a lot of dialogue that just isn't in the game yet from like other characters, and we can't really kill like, for these sequences either because we don't have the dialogue for those other characters yet. At least it's not fully finished, I should say. So a lot of that stuff's gonna fall into place once all of the chapter 1 levels are in the game.
I like you better this way.
Another thing that doesn't happen is currently health and armor do not carry in between levels. That's not going to be the case in the full game. And also acid doesn't damage you yet, so you know. Also legs. They're not done animation-wise. I have all the animations made, they just need to be implemented. Let's see if I can kind of show you what I was talking about before with the enemies. Yep, see, you just saw it right there. So he'll just walk you up there, he goes.
You look cuter when you're in pieces.
Oh, we're not an enemy. I need to get the pump cannon before I can get this place up. See the secret right there.
Full of pain coming at you fast. Are you dead
These first
yet?
two levels, I should say, are the ones that are the most finished. Some of the level 3 currently has a few things that aren't done about it yet. Like there's a teleporter in level 3 that's not done. Or I should say a slip gate. Let's see. If you look at my health bar, you can see something. Like this. And with the armor, it's the same thing, with the exception of only the little armor shards will end up doing that. I never get my armor high enough because I need to actually be able to carry my armor in between levels in order to actually even get really high. And because that stuff doesn't carry in between levels yet, it's just not something that's going to end up happening for a while. But it is in play. I also need, there's a pickup I got right here from over here. It doesn't have a notification yet. I need to work on getting that in as well. Yeah, this level though, this level is currently, it's like I said, it's not done yet. Oop, that was a jarring transition. Was there a little crack in that wall or something? Oh no, there is a, so like, I'll show it again because there's another one of those kinds of secrets in this. There's actually, so any explosive secret, in something like Duke Nukem 3D, it was always like a texture or something, but in Viscerafest, it's actually like modeled into the wall. There's like a physical crack you can see that like allows you to directly see to the other side of the wall. Also, this enemy's not supposed to be here, ignore her.
Suck it down.
We're just testing out some of the end enemies of Chapter 1. But like, obviously this affects this lift gate isn't going to be in the final game. I just have this really stupid picture of my face that my bud loves putting in particle effects. And this also isn't final, because 1, that teleport is supposed to be instant, 2, it doesn't have a proper sound effect, and 3, for some reason, has an explosion effect. I don't know why. But it does. So, yeah, so this enemy type, I'll talk about him quick, because he's actually been completely changed from the Blender version of the game. In the Blender version, this guy was kind of like a melee enemy type, kind of. So basically... So basically, what he would do is when he was within a certain range of you, he would like instantly start attacking you with this like area of effects melee attack thing. Now he obviously spits acid, which if he hits you directly, will continue to drain your health for a few seconds. If I don't die, okay. And he also, for a few seconds after it hits, the acid puddle on the ground will actually do damage to you if you step on that as well. Oh yeah, you showed off that dumb part. Yeah, I have. I just thought I'd bring it up in case anybody didn't know what that was. Yeah. Another thing we're doing, actually, I should mention it. Yeah. That was something my composer recommended we do, I believe. But another thing we're going to be doing is there's a bunch of lockers here. First of all, these lockers are a very old asset and they look terrible. Secondly, all these lockers are going to be openable, and there's going to be stuff you can get out of the lockers. I've made a new model for it. It's just not been properly implemented in the game yet. But we're starting to try and add some more slightly interactive elements into the game. Because that's going to be more in Chapter 2, but I still want it to be present in Chapter 1. If it's like only in Chapter 2, it kind of, one, it comes out of nowhere, and two, it's like, because it's not something players were trained to expect, it kind of, it might blow past a lot of players' heads. But this right here, so you can kind of see that there's actually, like, you can see the crack in the wall, and you can see into the other side. That's how a lot of the way I handle these secrets. I'm actually surprised Dusk doesn't do this, which is like that game's intended to be fully 3D, and it doesn't have like 3D model cracks or anything. I just thought it was a more interesting way to visually indicate this stuff, because with like, if it's just like a texture or something and it's black or whatever, it tends to just kind of look pretty flat and uninteresting. Whereas here, it's like, now the lighting can impact like your ability to see the secret, and like it just, I don't know. I find it visually, one, it ties into the level a bit better, and two, it's just, I don't know, something about it that I like more visually. Yeah. And then, obviously, the best weapon in the game, right here. My bud called this the PFC of Chapter 1, because it is. It becomes a more standard weapon in the latter parts of the game, the quad shotgun.
Oh, no one wants to play with me.
I'll die if I get really careful. Yeah, it absolutely runs everything. It's great. And the sound is just nice. It's just nice. Oh yeah, I'll show off bunny hopping too, because I can. And I whiffed it. The staircases always get me. Ah! I whiffed it again. I keep mistiming my jumps. Dang it. It's wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, there's... Oh, I'm dumb. There's 2 more weapons in Chapter 1 that are not in the game yet. That's the next thing we're going to be working on once we add the rest of the... Once the enemies are finished up. That's the next major thing we'll be working on, is getting the other weapons in. Because there's 2 other weapons that will be appearing in Chapter 1 other than these 5. Because you got the pistol, which is called the Skull Crusher, which does 15 damage, and it uses the cells ammo. There's the Shredders, which is bound to the same key, which does 5 damage, but its like firing rate means that it's great for stun locking enemies. Because in Viscerafest, the way stun locking works is different than something like Doom. It's not a random chance. It happens every time you hit an enemy, with the exception of some of the really bulky enemy types who will only be stunned, like if you do like in excess of say 100 damage or something like that. But like, so with some of the weaker enemies, you'll notice when I'm using these, they'll get absolutely stun locked and they can't do anything at all. And it's great for dealing with with just making sure, like, if there's any enemies that you're having a problem with, like in the beginning of this level earlier, this girl right here, she's the drone. She fired an insanely fast projectile, and I'm sure some players will have a problem with dodging that, because it's inherently designed to make you use the dash mechanic. But being able to put the pressure on them and stun lock them is something that it can be very useful. And there's another weapon that actually uses. That's one thing I really don't like about Doom, is the way it implements the random chance mechanics. It's such a, because it's like a completely random chance how much damage you'll take and stuff like that. Like, that kind of stuff is just dumb. But anyways, I catch there for 5 seconds. So there's this weapon right here, which is great for stun locking enemies. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but if you're dealing with an enemy type that you're having a problem with, it can be great for putting the pressure on them and keeping them immobile and able to not really do anything. There's the double-barreled shotgun called the Bunker Buster, which is pretty self-explanatory. There's a punk cannon, which is kind of interesting, because on direct hits it will just burst into shrapnel, and it will deal way more damage to enemies than it will if it's just like if you use the secondary. Because if you use the secondary, well, not the secondary, if you use the if you just hit like a piece of the environment, it will just latch onto the ground and blow up. But on direct hits, it will just burst into shrapnel against enemies, and it does double the damage of that explosion. It's like great, because like if you're dealing with clumps of weak enemies, it's great because you can take out those clumps. But if you're dealing with like an entire horde, if you're dealing with clumps of weak enemies, then it makes it easy to deal with them. But if you're dealing with like just one single, like more, let's say, annoying enemy type, like these guys right here, the Attack Tools, you can just one-shot them. The visual for a lot of this stuff isn't done yet. We also want to make the visual of when it's on the ground a bit more pronounced. Because currently the problem is it kind of gets lost in the fray sometimes, and we want it to be very apparent when you've done one thing or the other. But yeah. So this is essentially pretty much in terms of like the raw content that we have in, aside from like some of the other enemy types and stuff like that. All the levels are completely done for Chapter 1 in terms of I have the model and texture and everything like that. They just need to be brought over into Unity, which right now what we're focusing on doing is just really polishing up everything we have and everything that needs to be done in Chapter 1. And that way, once we get into actually adding those levels, it's a very quick and painless process, and we can kind of just drag and drop everything into place. But yeah, I think that will be all for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. I don't really have a good way to end this. So, just thank you guys for coming and watching me finish up Doom. I plan to play through Into the Dark Descent next for Halloween. Not specifically on Halloween, but just for the month of October. So that will be fun. Kaz will have a lot of fun watching me suffer. Yeah, I can't wait for you to play the full game. But yeah, it was nice having you guys. So I will see you guys later. Peace.